And the question was, does the screen rotate? Yes, it does. Right? You only have to rotate the screen 90 degrees and the whole thing will rotate around. So we'll just have a look at 3 slides now of the typical desktop that you have. Now this is the desktop of these El Cheapo and Micro ones. So we'll just look at the features that are on that. Down the bottom here we have the home screen, the home button, right, and that takes you to what's called the desktop. What you're looking at on this screen is the desktop, right, and this is like the desktop on a computer where you have your programs or applications that you commonly use will be sitting on the desktop. Another feature that you'll have on all the tablets is the back button, which is very similar to the back on an internet browser program. It will take you back to what you were last doing. Then there's a button to list all applications that you've got running, right, so that you can happily unload those applications so they're not taking up space. Now on the Micro one, they also provide a couple of buttons for volume control. Now this is not on all tablets. Generally speaking, those certainly those 2 buttons and this one up here, the menu button, you will find on virtually all tablets. Right? So they've chucked these other couple in. Just as I said, the thing gets customized to suit that. Then you'll find that there's a notification area, and the notification area is that area in the red striped area. And this is where if you get a new email, like I can see there that when I took this snapshot, I had a Gmail that was due there, I had a Hotmail that was due there. I forget what the other ones were, but they would have been messages that come through. Then you've got this area over here that tells you the time and the strength of the Wi-Fi, and as you can see, the little symbol there is saying that my battery was only half charged at that point. Once you know one of these systems, then you'll find that you can comfortably move across to the other one. It'll be a little awkward at first till you get used to the different way that they've got things laid out, but you'll find that you can. I'm currently using both the iPad and the Android to do that, but I'll tell you about the iPad there shortly. There's usually a connection to search the internet, like this one up here for Google, and you can click on that and it will take you through. And you'll notice that on some of them you can, the little microphone symbol, you can actually ask a question and instead of doing the typing. On the desktop itself, you've got these things called apps, and that's an app there, one for a browser, there's another app there for a camera, one for a calendar. The desktop consists of multiple screens. They can be 3, 4, 5 screens, and you simply swipe. In other words, you just flick your finger across the screen to move between the different desktop screens. Now the other term that you'll find besides apps are things called widgets. Now a widget is simply an app that will actually show you stuff. So that there is the clock widget, for example, which shows you the actual time. And if you tap on it, then you can set alarms that are on it. So apart from your desktop, you've got another area of the screen that shows all of the apps and widgets that you've got on that machine. So your desktop is your working area, same as the desktop on a computer. So all of the screens, so you can think of this as being equivalent to the start menu on the computer. So you want to see all the programs that you've got on your computer, well then this is the area to see it all. And you can happily move stuff from this other area across to the desktop, and we'll see that later too. Finally, to go and get more applications to put on your tablet, you go to a place called the Play Store. This is Google's Play Store, and I don't know how many thousands, hundreds of thousands or millions of apps they've got there that you can get and bring across. And there's many, many of them that are free that you get from the Play Store. Right, so that's the basics of a typical El Cheapo 7-inch Micro one. So if we flick across and have a look at my 7-inch Nexus one, and I've turned it sideways. I normally use it vertical, but to suit these slides, I've turned it sideways. And you can see we've got the same things. We've got the home button that takes us back to home. We've got a back button, right? And we've got the button there to list all running apps. Exactly the same buttons as I have on the El Cheapo one. We have the settings area that I can quickly get the settings up in that top right corner. And we have the notification area. And you can see when I took this screenshot that there were no emails or anything waiting for me to get in there. I can search the internet exactly the same way. The little Google symbol, I can get into that. We can see here that I have a calendar widget. This is a Google Calendar, and it is showing me all the things for April the 11th, the events that I've got there. And I can happily click on those, and that will open up to see. You can see I have a weather widget, and that is giving me the forecast for today and tomorrow, as well as the current temperature. Again, I just simply swipe to move to other desktop screens. Because this is a more expensive tablet than the El Cheapo ones, it's got a much higher resolution screen on it, so consequently I can fit more items on the particular screen and in finer detail. Now, another feature of this Nexus is it has this little strip from there through to there, right? This strip here of items that are always there on the screen, very similar to the little area on your taskbar on Windows of things that you can always get at. Right, so let's have a look at a smartphone. Again, we have exactly the same facilities. We've got a home button, we have a back button, and we have the ability to list all running apps. The three main buttons that we've got on this. Now, this smartphone is a $100 Hawaii smartphone, and you'll find other smartphones are very similar. Right, there's a button there that will take me through to all installed apps and widgets that I've got installed on the phone. But again, I have the same areas. We look at the top of the screen. We've got the notifications area, and in this case, there were no emails waiting to be read by the person who took this screenshot. I can see over here that the Wi-Fi type signals I've got, the status of the battery, and the time. And there's the Google facilities for searching the internet, or the microphone for asking the question. So you can do it by just simply asking the question to go in there. Again, you just simply swipe left or right to get to other desktop screens. And if you want, there's the one app for the Play Store. Right? So hopefully people can see that there's not a huge amount of difference between the three. They're just laid out slightly differently. It's like walking into somebody else's house, and you'll find, oh yes, yeah, it's laid out different to mine, but yeah, it's got 4 bedrooms, it's got a kitchen and a lounge room. They're just in different spots. Right, so let's see what happens if we tap the icon to list all the running apps. Right, when we click on that icon, it's not very clear on this screen, that's the one there to list all running apps, then the screen will show you all the apps that you've got running on this screen. As you can see, I've got a settings app, I've got a browser app, and I've got a camera app open at that particular time when I did that. So if you want to totally get out of that app and shut it down, then you just simply flick it a bit, either left or right, and it will quit that application altogether. If you want to go straight to that app, then you just simply tap it, and it will go straight to that app at where it's currently up to. Okay, so this little diagram explains a bit about the where the apps are stored on the Android system. Right, we've been looking at the desktop, right, which is this area down here. That's the desktop where the apps are sitting on the desktop, waiting for you to use them. Now, to delete an app from the desktop, you usually just hold it down and a little trash can or an X will appear, and you can happily delete it on the X. Now, Peter has asked, do apps running in the background use a battery or make performance slow? My understanding is no, they don't, and this is one of the big features of tablets. Tablets are constantly trying to save their battery. So if you're not using that app, then it just simply grinds to a stop and just sits there waiting for you to go on with it again. So it doesn't run in the background like some Windows programs do, where they keep happily chewing away in the background. Right, so to delete an app, the icon for an app from the desktop, when you take it to the little trash can, it only deletes it from the desktop. Right, if we go to the installed apps area, and we get to the installed apps area by clicking that symbol on the desktop, right, and that takes us to the installed apps. Think of this as like the start menu on a computer. And on this case, if you hold down the app, then there's a trash can appears and you can delete it from the tablet. Now, when I say you can do this, you can't do this to all of the apps. There are certain apps that are on there that the Android system says, no, you cannot get rid of that app. That app is part of my essential part, the same as Windows has essential parts for it to keep operating, and you can't get rid of that. So some stuff you can't. But if you install a game and you think, oh, I'm sick of this, then you can happily delete it from the tablet to make it more memory. So where do we get installed apps from? Well, we can get installed apps from 3 places that I'm aware of. We can get them from the Play Store, which is the Google Play Store, and that's the recommended place to get them from. We can sometimes get them from websites, and that starts to get a little on the dodgy side, because you're not too sure about the developer of that app as to whether it's totally reliable or going to install something nasty on your computer. Or if you're really into the geeky side of things, you can get these things called APK files, and that will install the app on your tablet. I think I've only ever done that once, and that was when my son actually developed one and he wanted me to test it. So he sent me the APK file, and that's just like you get some freeware and you install it on your computer. It happily goes through and does that. So how do we get to the Play Store? Simple. We just simply click on that little icon, and that will take us straight through to the Play Store to get stuff there. Okay, so moving apps to the desktop. Right? So if we're on our desktop, and this just represents our desktop screen over here, this little one down in the bottom right corner, to get to see all the apps that we could possibly see that is currently installed on it, then we click an icon or click on an app that looks like that one, and that will take us all the way across to this apps, all the installed apps as to where we want, right? So to just hold any icon, right, we just hold it down, and then it will move across and it will open up the desktop screen, waiting for you to drop it down. And so it's just a simple matter of trying that, and you'll play to get it there, no trouble at all. If you want to go and get even more apps, then you can go to the Play Store and get more apps altogether. Right? And we'll have a look at the Play Store very shortly. So there's one icon there that you can click on, Play Store, and there's another one up there you can click on there. Or I notice down here on the desktop, I've also got it there, so you can bypass this whole thing and go direct to the Play Store and get stuff. Now, when you do get an app from the Play Store, it may or may not install itself on the desktop. It will certainly put it into the All Installed Apps area, right? And there are multiple screens for this. You just simply swipe left and right to be able to go to the rest of the screens. Some of them will actually put it on the desktop as well as in this area as well. However, for both of them, you do need have an ID. In case of the Apple one, you need an Apple account to be able to go there, to be able to get apps. If you're going to the Google one, then you need a Google account, right? So if you have a Gmail account, then you've automatically got a Google account. It will ask you for that before getting stuff from the Play Store.